Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining. So what I want to talk to you about is a very simple thing. I want to talk to you how to bring enterprises more to the Web3 world on one side, and the other side, how to sell more to the Web3 to the enterprises. Because I'll tell you a few things about myself and why I feel confident about this idea, and then what we do and how we transform some of the things we did. Since May last year, I think Alex is somewhere in the audience. I don't see him because of this light. We had dealt with 8 projects that we are delivering as a MVP, and I don't want to talk too much about MVP because I think you know a lot. And some of these projects are delivered to the enterprises, not just to the regular guys. And now we are in a finalization of a large contract with one of the largest automotive enterprise in the world, one of the. So not the largest, but one of the. And why is this important to say at the beginning and why we want to talk about this is, my personal role is, I used to work for Deloitte, I used to work for A.T. Kearney, I used to work for the Boston Consulting, and then after that I led AC Nielsen for Croatia, Slovenia, and Bosnia in selling to large enterprises with 120 people in 3 countries. And after that, and my background is IT, I'm an IT engineer, and after that I've been Chief Digital Officer of the MK Group, MK Grupa for those who know better, one of the largest Serbian enterprises, one of the largest Serbian enterprises at the end of the day, private equity enterprise. And the thing is in here, the C-level and the enterprise think totally differently than how we do it. So regular IT or regular startup thinks in one way and the enterprise thinks in the other way. So let's talk about it a bit in order to understand both sides, because what I believe is the Web3 to succeed, it has to become mainstream. It has to cross the chasm, it has to become mainstream, and it has to be forward. And a lot of times I'm talking a few things that even my close team tells me, don't say it loud. It's not proper, But I truly believe in the next 5 to 7 years, the enterprise are going to be the main driving force of the Web3. We still need to develop a lot of technologies. We need to still develop a lot of things. But at the end of the day, this is something that's going to happen. And to be very honest, it's not something that I'm very big visionary or futurist or something. It's very simple, Just take how the Web2 took over. So we did have small agencies. We did have everything small, blah, 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 blah. Now in the end, if you want to build a large-scale Web2 project for a large enterprise, you have to be enterprise yourself at the end of the day. So let's move forward. What is a traditional offer that we offer to a classical enterprise? We come with a slide something like this. Metaverse, DAOs, Web3 apps, creator economy, and all of these kind of things. How many of you use something like this? Or try to explain the Web3 to any large-scale enterprise with a slide like this? A lot. And a lot of time we talk to them about technology and not about the solution to their problem. For those who know me, when I started working with Ivan Bijelic, while I was still at the MK Group, I was always telling him about Web3 the same sentence. You are giving me a solution for a problem that I don't have. And trust me, 80% of the projects that we are trying to sell in a Web3 shouldn't be sold by a Web3, shouldn't be sold by a blockchain technology. And we'll see why is this happening. Because when you show something like this to a C-level executive in a large enterprise, what's going to happen is you are going to do 2 things to him. A, confuse him, and B, make him look stupid, make him ashamed, and then 10% are going to accept to continue talking to you, and 90% are going to try to either delegate it to some lower level, so that he doesn't look stupid, and B, he's going to try to cut. Okay. Bravo! Istina. You want to join me on the stage? Come on. If you all good. And or what he's going to do, he's going to try to find an excuse why he needs to go away because, nobody likes to feel stupid. And guys, how many of you know all of these things to really explain? So we are overwhelming them with the technology and not with the solution, and they need solution. So how enterprise look at the technology? What the first thing does the C-level guy, he goes to a Gartner. How many of you are following what Gartner is publishing about technology? Okay, 4 hands. How many of you are looking what Messari is publishing about Web3 technology? All hands, right? And this is the difference. We are looking at one source of information and they're looking at the other source of information. So if you want to really be able to help them to cross the chasm and become the valuable guy to help them, you need to look where they're looking. And look at this. Top strategic technology trends for 2023 by Gartner. Metaverse is the only thing connected to a Web3, and it's on the 9th spot. And if you look what they do, and they are paying around 80,000 euros per seat, per license, per person, yearly to Gartner to give them thoughts about where the technology is going to go. So will he believe us, or will he believe something like this? So we need to make sure that when we are sending the message, we're sending it properly. And then, if you look at the technology according to Gartner, for them the most important part is optimize, scale, and pioneer. These are the things. So where are we? Where is the Web3 technology? In pioneering. What it means for us, very simply, it means that when you're talking to a C-level and when you're talking to enterprise, the most important thing you need to ask them, where is this request for a Web3 coming from? Is it really coming from a need to transform the business? Or is it coming from a position that you heard about Web3 and it's cool, you have to be there? Or we are trying to solve some of your problem? And the second most important question, do you have a budget for it? Because if they don't have a budget, then all the talk is fine, let's discuss, blah, blah, blah. But I'm using personally this, do you have a budget for, very simply in Serbia, when we are working to talk to all C-level, all CEOs, my ex-colleagues, on a daily basis. But I'm not trying to sell them. And I tell them always the opening sentence. I'm really not trying to sell you anything because our prices are higher for Serbia. So we are working globally and worldwide. But what we are doing, we are asking for a domain knowledge. So I'm more than keen to go and to talk to any C-level executive in Serbia about the blockchain in exchange for him to learn more about Web3 and for us to learn more about shipping, more about manufacturing, more about medicine, pharmacy, and similar things. But we'll come to a position, how can you have a conversation with them? If you look at this, again, this is their prediction, what will happen. But let's see his thought process. First thing is, what is a Web3? Okay, we solved that, we showed them. Second is, how can Web3 help my enterprise? And the most important thing, that my current systems are not fulfilling. Legacy systems are number one thing to stop any company moving from one technology to other. Anybody knows which country is the most advanced in the banking? UK. Far away from Europe. Far away from USA. One of the least advanced technology. Singapore. No. African countries, believe it or not. Central African and South African countries. Why? Because they are the latest to get banking as a technology, especially mobile banking. So they had skipped some legacy systems, because when you want to implement a new system in any bank in any world, you have to, look at the legacy system, look what is happening, and then move forward, right? So these are the biggest issue. What is the single biggest obstacle for any Web3 blockchain to have enterprise coming onto the blockchain? Do you know how long it takes to download all the data for the first time on the chain? A very, very long time. And what happens if these data are not transferred properly? He fails. So, what are my current systems are not fulfilling? What are the benefits of using Web3 versus the current system that I have? So how do I implement Web3 into my business without disrupting the current operations? This is the second most important thing for him. Because we are operating on an open heart. You don't want to disrupt what is he doing. Because if in a banking or a shipping or anything else stops, it's a challenge. We did implementation of SAP in one large Serbian shipping and logistics company, the largest one. You know what they asked us as a guarantee to implement the SAP to them? A bank guarantee on $5 million in order to guarantee that their operations are not going to be disrupted more than one day. Because this is how much it costs them for one day to stop. So if you come with the implementation of a new system and you succeed in being genius and stopping all the operations, what will happen is this is how much it will cost them to stand one day. And these are the things we need to think about and help them overcome it. And the last but not the least is, what are the risks of the Web3 that I can avoid while waiting to become more mature? So if I just sit and don't do anything, can I avoid these risks, correct? Because one of the things that every CTO is constantly thinking in C-level is the risk of using technology that can be hard to find qualified people with the skill set to use it, right? A majority of the enterprises are afraid that if they don't find a reliable partner in you, and you need to demonstrate you're a reliable partner, what will happen is that they will end up with the expensive technology, that they will have to overpay the people versus their current traditional people, and they will not be able to find them. And then they're double jeopardy. And the last but not the least is, what if it's not compatible with many legacy systems that we have, which can lead to a lot of extra work for our IT staff? Because they're already hit it with downsizing, reducing. So these are the things we need to think, and what we need to do is help them to do it. So based on all of this, again, they go back to Gartner, and this is from 2022 because the new one is coming in June, so just watch out. It's a Gartner hype cycle for blockchain. And I on purposely marked with the red, what is there? With the light blue is something that will come in 2 to 5 years. In 2 to 5 years. In order for enterprise to fully adopt some technology, they start planning today, and most probably they implement it in 2, 3 years, right? So look at this. Cryptocurrencies are fine to go, and they're out of, let's say, out of disillusionment. But plateau of productivity, they're still not reaching. Decentralized application. But look at this, what we're talking about. Tokenization, IoT and blockchain, which is really going to be a big thing. Tamper-proof IoT sensor writing, I think it's the next major thing, especially in supply chain. But look at these things. So when we're talking to them and we come and say we were building in metaverse, majority of Gartner analysts believe that metaverse in the form we know it today will die before it reaches the plateau of productivity. So not in 2 years, in 10 years they will not still reach it. Most probably going to change and stuff like that. For those who doubt in this, which is okay, just think about one thing. Who here has Oculus VR or any of those VR headset devices? How many times you use it in the past 6 months? None. That's the whole thing, because it's very heavy still, even if it's wireless, right? And can you really imagine that we were so hyped on that we will all going to be inside and stay there for 4 hours? Come on, after 10 minutes, my eyes are already swelling and I'm getting sweaty. So think about it, how this really works. So this is McKinsey look. Here is the Web3. Again, take a look at these consulting companies in order for you to be able to know how to talk to them. And then when you look at this, there are only 2 things that they want to show you that it's ready for you. It's fintech and media. So last but not the least, what we show them the key trends. We all know about CEFI and DeFi. We know that regulation is coming. MiCA, read about it. European one. They all love to know about KYC and AML. If you cannot talk to them about KYC and AML in your product, you're hardly going to talk, because we have here some guys who work with one of the largest beverage companies in the world, talking to them in this region about the NFTs and how the NFTs can help them. It was all good until it came to compliance department. When it came to compliance department, everything stopped. Okay? I don't know if you know about institutions. JP Morgan is one of the largest real assets to tokenization platform. They are offering this for their companies, right? And last but not the least, the development. So I'm going to skip this because we have a lot of time, but I'm sure you will be able to see. One of the most important things for you to know when you're talking to enterprises is it's not about purchasing your product. It's not about purchasing your service or anything else. It's about the loss that they will make by not doing something else. Because all the companies, including our companies when we are building, right, have to make some compromises. Yes, you can do it faster with 10 developers, but you have money only for 5, because in 3 months' time you will not have job for all 10. The same is with the big enterprises. If they take your product, they need to cut something else. So always bear in mind how to help them to lower down this loss, because it's simple. If I buy the apple, I don't have money for a peer. So the price for the apple is not the apple itself. It's the loss of the ability to buy a peer. It's the same with them. If they invest in blockchain technologies, maybe they don't have budget to invest in AI. And currently, AI is the sexy guy, right? You remember what they are talking, how to become the AI expert now? In 3 steps. You just go to LinkedIn, you search and replace everything with Web3 to AI, and you are now an expert. And you increased your sales chances for like 100%. It's the same for them, because a majority of the big companies have a list of projects for next 5 years. I had to develop 5-year roadmap with all the projects and templates. So now if I'm having to implement something new, I have to kick something out. Bear in that. So how to help them to enter the Web3 enterprise? I think this is the most important. I put it like 6 simple steps. You can, of course, define your own. It's not a problem. But do whatever you feel. This is what works for us the best and what I believe it's the easiest when I'm talking to them. First thing is focus on the business outcomes and not on technology. A lot of time we go there and talk about, I don't know, different types of technology which they don't understand. Bear in mind, again, if you know more about technology than them, for them it can be intimidating. So bear in mind what you're telling. Second, talk about business models and benefits. Because guys, for any enterprise, it's very simple. you are either increasing revenues or decreasing the cost. It's that simple. There is nothing in between. Even the CSR and donations, the whole idea is to improve the brand and then increase the revenues later. It's very simple, increasing the revenues or decreasing the cost. There is nothing in between. Yes, I want to invest some money, even if it fails, in the newest technology, but that means that in a few years' time, I will be able to increase the revenues, okay? So this is the thing you need to think about. Last but not the least, support the story to references. If it's very hard when you are young and you are very progressive and talented to sit in the front of a guy who has like 40, 50, 60, and he has seen it all, hopefully, and then you tell me, believe me, I know this technology is the best. So let's see how we are going to do it. I'll show you the exact step for each of these. Start with a big vision, but have a small enough step into it. And it's very important about the budget. Do they really have a budget for what you're doing, or they have some side job? We had a request as MVP to build an NFT marketplace, everything, on a separate chain, on an app chain, and blah, 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 for one of the largest entertainment company in the world. And I'll tell you very openly, we offered something so low it doesn't cover our cost. They asked it for free. And we said, okay, no problem. I mean, it's a problem, but okay, let's try. Can we get at least that we put on our brand that we did the marketplace for you guys? You know, at least we'll say, okay, we built a marketplace for this company, one of the largest entertainment companies in the world. And they say, no, 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 no. This is for internal purposes to educate our employees. What this tells us, two things. First is, they don't really have a budget for it. And second, this is not really their project. This is maybe a pet project of that CTO or that guy who wants to try it and to see it, okay? So bear in mind, is it really a project for a company, or CTO is trying to use a brand name to hustle you to help them? Understand the budget cycle. If the budget is in June, July, and you come in September, most probably you have to wait next year, right? So you have to ask about these things and be their trusted advisor. So how to do it in less than 2 minutes that I have? First, focus on business outcomes. Talk to them about new revenue models and cost savings and how Web3 is changing the world, how it's more about direct to consumer and how it's a community-first approach. Second thing, show them these models, right? We all know about create turn, play turn, move turn, drive turn, blah, blah, blah. But do you know about wear turn? You wear certain clothes, but you are not Instagram influencer, you are a regular person, and you get money. How many of you have heard about this model? 2 hands, bravo. What if I tell you that these are the companies who are implementing it without the blockchain? So they just said whoever applies and comes to us and wears for a certain amount of days, he gets the money. Can you imagine how we can expand this with the blockchain instead of paying to influencers and stuff? And the last but not the least, Atlas Navy. If you're in the US, you would use this versus Google Maps. Why? Because by driving, you earn money. Why would somebody pay me to start this and then earn money? It's very simple. By driving and earning money, I'm sending real-time data to a company, which is then selling it to companies who have a cold chain supply, refrigerators or pharmaceuticals or whatever, ice cream companies, and they really need a real data. Remember that social experiment where the guy put 100 phones in the trolley and then pulled them around the big city? Why he could do it? Because he was not penalized. Here, if you're trying to manipulate the data, you get some money, but at the end of the day, you automatically get slashed for manipulating. So what is the point? Everybody gets a cut. Everybody gets money. Community-first approach. So this is their turn, as I told you. Wolf and Prince, 100 days straight. For the same, this is the same red shirt placed in the of course, 10 copies of that skirt, not just one, you know. And here is about the black pants. Very simple. Second one, support the story. Show them the same reports that they are looking at. Either from SRE, either go look at the Gartner. You can find some even free reports from Gartner and stuff like that. This is what we do. Before we go on a meeting with them, we research that industry that we are discussing. And we show them the big names, the IBM, the Merck, the Pfizer, the Toyota, or Ford, because they need this to persuade their own board, okay? Here you have about finances and supply chain. Supply chain is the next big thing, but it's a big bang, you know, long fuse big bang. It will happen in 3 to 5 years, even up to 7, because it takes time for IoT to really take. The most important thing for a supply chain is traceability, and it's IoT. And then the blockchain is a tamper-proof part. And when we show them, we propose them a roadmap how to do it. So this is the roadmap when we're working with them. We set up a small workshops. In these small workshops, we work with them 2 days, 3 days to define the business model and to define like a list of 100 and something of the topics that can be done in Web3. And from there, we move and select 10. From those 10, we make ROI. We make calculation, will the money be returned or not. And after that, we start working on these projects. 2 of them as a proof of concept. And then when we are there, then we start helping and training their people and everything else. And this is the roadmap. And then for us, out of those 100 other projects, we can find some for us. We don't have to do it all. And this is how we do it. As I said, we even have this very, very interesting framework how we set it up. You know, catch up the competition, go above the market, and these kind of things, fix the basics, different things. And we do all of this stuff. And with this, we help them realize, because this is the language they know how to talk. And be their trusted advisor, because be open what technology cannot do and where are the risks. They will be more than helpful, because maybe in this solution they will not help you, but they will find some other. When I was a chief digital officer, I had 107 companies in multiple countries under my vision. Maybe for one company it's not working, but for other companies will. And if you're trusted with me, and be very open, this is still a young and transformational technology. I'm showing you TradeLens. It was supported by Maersk and IBM, one of the largest supply chain projects on the blockchain, a very large one, for the 4 years, huge amounts of money. This year in January, they've sent notice that they are stopping the operations. Why? Not the technology is not working. It proved it's working. Multiple companies, multiple shippings, multiple stuff. The only challenge is it didn't reach commercial viability. So it didn't succeed in making enough money to finance the operation, and Maersk and IBM stopped it. So these are my things. Make sure you told them about solutions, not about technology. Technology is something below that you will show them. Tell them the solution and then explain them why your technology is best, but they need to see the solution. Make sure you understand their budgeting cycle. Make sure they're to have a reference from the industry. And the last but not the least, be a trusted advisor. Okay? That is all from me. Thanks a lot.